It's Adam the Un-Gluten guy again. So today we're going to be making a really, really simple dish that even if you don't think that you can cook, you can put this together. We're just going to make some vegetable soup. So for my vegetable soup, keep this really, really simple with lots of just fresh ingredients, things that were in the refrigerator. And what we're going to start with is we're going to do a little French lesson. So we're going to use something what's called a mirepoix. So a mirepoix is really, really simple. It's 3 ingredients. It's 2 parts onion, so I have onion that I've already chopped up. 1 part carrot I've already chopped up. And 1 part celery. This is really good for stews and soups. It's actually from French derivation. Each culture, Spain and Italy, have its own kind of derivation. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with that. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. I've already heated up my stock pot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in my onions. And we're going to add in our carrots and our celery. And we're just going to let that stew for a minute. So here goes the carrots. And here goes our celery. So this is a great dish. I mean, especially on the weekends, you can put this together. It goes really, really well for just a little midday snack. But it's great for me because I tend to take this to work. And it's a simple thing that I can kind of heat up in the middle of the day. And it gives me a really, really quick pre-made meal that I can use during the week. So now while that's cooking, the other thing we're talking about is just mise en place. Mise en place is a French term. A French term that really I find makes cooking very, very simple. So what I've already done is I've already prepared everything else that I'm going to use. I have zucchini that I'm going to add. The very next thing I'm going to add is going to be my garlic. I've already cut that up. I have some new potatoes that I've already cut and diced. And I have some peppers, some red peppers, and I have some yellow peppers that I've already cut and diced. And then the other things that I've added is I've taken some dried beans that we get from a local farm around here. I've put them in my pressure cooker for a few minutes, so now they have a nice little bit of a crunch to them because they're going to continue cooking in the soup. And the other thing that I add to my soup is some San Marzano tomatoes. What I do is I use the whole tomatoes and I reserve the liquid. So when I add my broth at the end, I'm going to use the liquid that I use from those tomatoes and I'm going to add them in. So I'll add just a little bit of salt and pepper, kind of each little part as I go along. And what I'm trying to do here is not overcook anything because a lot of it's going to cook in the soup while it renders to get the flavor going. So what I'm going to add next is I'm going to add my potatoes and the garlic. And they're raw potatoes. I haven't pre-cooked them. And the nice thing is don't wash or rinse them. For something like this, I find if you leave the starch attached to the potato, it actually helps to thicken your soup a little bit. So now we're kind of mixing in this really, really nice mixture with the mirepoix, the potatoes, the garlic, the smell starting to come out already. And we're going to let that just render down. And the next thing I'm going to add in, once this heats up a little bit, is going to be the peppers. So we'll add in our peppers. And the other nice thing about this is it adds lots of good color. I mean, I feel if you're going to sit down and eat something, it might as well look good. So I find that if I add things with contrasting colors, it really, really looks nice on the spoon and you enjoy what you're eating. And soup's one of those things I can't make a small amount of. So this is something that we also kind of give out to the neighbors and they enjoy it too when we come over with a bowl of pre-made soup. So next I'm going to add in my zucchini. And what I've done with the zucchini is I've cut out the soft inner part. Otherwise it would get really soft and mushy, and what I have is just the green of the skin and just the nice firm part of the pulp of the zucchini. And what you can see here is I'm starting to kind of render down all these colors. We got all the different flavors in there starting to meld, but I don't want to overcook the onions. I still want them to have a nice crunch. And that's why this is really, really simple and easy. So what I'm going to add next is just the tomatoes. So these are the tomatoes that I've taken out of the can after I've strained the liquid and I've cut them, gotten rid of some of the hard ends and some of the seeds. So that's all mixed together. And then as far as broth goes, I mean, if you've taken the time to pre-make your broth, definitely use that. There's a lot of flavor in pre-made broths. You can use either chicken broth or vegetable broth. Today I have 1 vegetable broth in the house remaining, so I'm adding a little bit of vegetable and chicken. And you can see how easy that was. There really wasn't a whole lot of cooking involved. So I'm going to add this, and then what I'll also add is the some aromatics. So what I've used today for aromatics is I have some fresh thyme and some fresh parsley, and I'll add that in along with some fresh bay leaves. You have dry and fresh bay leaves. I actually found a bay tree about a year or two ago, which we have out back, and it's great for adding things to soup. So I've added that. What I have here is just a mixture of my thyme and some oregano, so I'm going to add some aromatics in. Here's the juice from my can of tomatoes. I'm going to add that in. Add in a couple bay leaves. Add in my beans. I am going to stir this, cover it, simmer it, and probably see you back in a few hours after it's done cooking. Alright, so here we are. Adding the Un-Gluten guy back now. So this has been simmering for a few hours. My soup's done. It tastes delicious. Here you go. You got beans. You got all sorts of fresh vegetables, potatoes. I did add a little bit of salt and pepper, so just season it. A lot of it will depend on what sort of broth you're using and how salty it is. So just kind of adjust the seasonings until you get it right. But this is great, so I'll save some for lunch this week. We'll have a little snack now, give some to the neighbors. So go ahead and make this great vegetable soup. I'll put it up on the blog so you can have all the ingredients listed for you. I'll see you next time. I'm Adam, the Un-Gluten guy. Take care.